Today's topic of discussion is designing low pass Butterworth filters. So, just when we start with this, let's first go uh, with the term Butterworth. Now, as far as we have gone with the active filters part, when we studied the basic classification based on frequency, that is low pass, high pass, band reject, all pass. Now, for every response, we saw that there is ideal response and practical response. The practical response is possible to achieve while ideal ones are not possible, because ideally at the same instant you can't have a high value as well as a low value, or a constant voltage gain and suddenly zero. That is not possible practically. So practical filter designs are basically of three types. It is Butterworth, Chebyshev, and Cower. Normal standard filter design methods, practical filter design methods, active filters. Now, Butterworth filter has the characteristics of flat stop band, pass band. Flat in the sense the gain or the voltage levels are constant. So it is flat pass band, flat stop band. For Chebyshev, the pass band has ripples. It is ripple pass band and flat stop band. For power, it is ripple passband and ripple stop band. So, as far as Butterworth filters are concerned, it is nearest to the ideal or the ideal filter response that we are talking about. Flat, flat, that is flat pass band and flat stop band. So, it is also called a flat response filter. Now, let's take a look at the first order low pass Butterworth filter. Now, if you look at this is there is an op amp, of course, okay, which is in the non-inverting configuration, because the input is applied here to the non-inverting input terminal, and the two resistances R1 and RF are connected to the inverting input terminal, but this terminal end is grounded. So effectively these two resistances are for the ensuring the gain of the filter, non-inverting input, the non-inverting amplifier filter that we talk about, op amps gain in the non-inverting configuration. And the rest part, if you see, there is one R and C. So these are passive components that we talk about. Perhaps if we take a look at, or take a flashback rather, we know that we have designed filters, or simple basic passive filters were RC filters. So R and C, R in the series arm and C in the shunt arm, and the input being applied over here and to the resistance actually. And what happens is, if you go by just the characteristics or behavior of resistance and capacitor, for the input voltage, obviously it is there, but we are talking about frequencies. So let the input voltage be of same value, but the frequencies can be gradually increasing. Okay, so when it gradually increases, what happens? Resistances allows through and through. It's a linear element, so it allows through and through. The capacitor, we know that blocks DC or low frequencies, while it allows AC, higher AC components. So whenever the signal is actually coming in of low frequencies or DC values, immediately it passes through resistance, but the capacitor does not allow the signal to pass through it. So it is developed across the capacitor, and the voltage that develops across the capacitor is applied to the non-inverting input terminal. Effectively, the voltage across the capacitor is the voltage that is being applied to the op amp, non-inverting input terminal. Now, the basic filtering, if you say here, as the frequency increases of the input signal, the resistance is accordingly allowing through and through, but now capacitor, the reactance of capacitor is gradually decreasing with increase in frequency. We know XC, the reactance of capacitor is 1 upon 2 pi omega C, that is 1 by 2 pi FC. So when we talk about this, now this is now allowing, so it is shortening the path. So the voltage developed across this is gradually falling as the frequency is increasing. The current is gradually flowing, it's getting path through the capacitor, because the reactance is gradually, the opposition offered by the capacitance is gradually decreasing, so it is allowing the current to flow through this path. So the voltage developed over here also is falling, and accordingly the output is also falling. So effectively R and C, these two form as the frequency selective element, because effective filtering, if you say, is being done by RNC, and whatever signal energy part is being consumed in the process by the passive elements is being boosted up and sent to the output terminal. Okay, so effectively this is the work of a op amp or active filter that we talk about. The RC network is basically again used for filtering only. As for passive networks also we have seen RC filters are used. These are basic passive filters that we study. So this is again being used, but only thing is that op amp is, the output of this filter is applied to the op amp, and effectively the input is being amplified. So it is active filter, filtering and plus boosting up of the signal. So this is what we are talking about. Now I have already discussed that using an RC network for filtering, we are, for this particular thing, this is a first order low pass Butterworth filter. Again here I'll take draw your attention that first order means basically the order part is at which rate the voltage or the gain decreases after the cutoff frequency. That is what we are talking about, order. Okay, we'll take a look at the response, then we'll actually realize that. Now when we say that op amp is used in the non-inverting configuration, it does not load down the RC network. So whatever signal is over here is being sent through and through the non-inverting input terminal, and it does not hold any of the impedance back here. So that is why it does not load this particular RC network. Okay, and RF, this RF and R1 are used for determining the gain of the filter. So this is there. Now let's find what exactly is the expression of output voltage for this kind of a filter. Now according to the voltage divider rule, the voltage that is developing across at the input non-inverting input terminal is the voltage that is developing across the capacitor that we saw in the circuit. So V1, that voltage, is equal to minus of jXC by R minus jXC times Vn. Now this is the reactance of the capacitor divided by the effective impedance that is appearing, resistance in series with the capacitor. So the voltage across the capacitor is to be found out. So it is, the ratio is voltage divider rule that we talk about is minus of jXC divided by the effective impedance R minus jXC times Vn. So this is the voltage divider rule. Now here we have to keep in mind that J, we are talking about the J operator, which is under root of minus 1, and minus of jXC means it is 1 by J 2 pi Fc. Here J is missing of course, but it is 1 by J 2 pi Fc. And simplifying equation 1, actually here, since we said V1 is this, so we can say that V1 is actually 1 Vn by 1 plus J 2 pi F RC. Why we do this? Because we can just simplify it. Jxc, so you can divide the equation, the numerator and the denominator both with Jxc, minus of Jxc, so you'll get 1 divided by R, actually minus Jxc divide, it becomes 1, so 1 plus R divided by minus Jxc, that is what it is. So if you say R minus Jxc, it becomes, since Jxc minus Jxc is equal to 1 by 2 pi Fc, J 2 pi Fc, so it finally becomes Vn divided by 1 plus J 2 pi F RC. Okay, and we know that the output voltage of an inverting input op amp or inverting op amp is V0 is equal to RF 1 plus RF by R1 times the input effective input voltage. Since V2 is 0 because it was grounded, from the other side. So v1 minus v2, so v1 minus 0, that is v1. So effectively whatever is appearing at the non-inverting input terminal is being fed as the input. And we just replace v1 by equation 2 and we write down. So since we have v in over here, so taking down v into the LHS, we have v naught by v in is equal to AF divided by 1 plus j times f by fh. Now here v naught by v in is the gain of the filter because it is output to input ratio. So gain of the filter as a function of frequency. AF is equal to 1 plus RF by R1, which is the pass band gain of the filter. Normally we talk about when talk about configurations, it is the closed loop gain, but for filter design we call it to be the pass band gain of the filter. F is the operating frequency or the frequency of the input signal, and FH is 1 upon 2 pi RC, where it is the high cutoff frequency of the filter. Now the magnitude and the phase angles that we talk about of this particular filter is, we know that we have already got an expression for v naught by v in. So for applying the same equation, we obtain the magnitude as well as the phase angle. So v naught mod of v naught by v in is that the magnitude of this is equal to AF divided by this under root of 1 plus f by fh square, and phi is minus of tan inverse f by fh. So these two expressions have to be kept in mind when we are trying to draw the frequency response. When we go for the frequency response, we actually apply equation 4 to find out the gain against frequency. So that is how we actually plot. So next is the operation of low pass filter. Now we are trying to analyze the frequency response of the filter. So the operation of the low pass filter can be verified from the gain magnitude of as given by equation 4. Now there are three conditions. If you look at this equation 4, it is v naught by v in AF by this. Now AF is fixed. What we have is f by fh factor over here. F is constantly changing because that is the input frequency. Signal of the input, frequency of the input signal is f. So f is constantly, if we rather start, it will be from 0 and gradually increasing. So let's take the value of f with respect to fh, that is the high cutoff frequency of low pass filter. Now fh, there can be three possible conditions: when f is less than fh, when f is greater than fh, and f is equal to fh. So let's analyze these three situations. So at very low frequencies, that is f is quite less than fh. So in that case, if you look at this equation, when this is very less, f is very less than fh, that is almost equal to 0, suppose, it becomes negligible. The numerator is negligible with respect to denominator. So obviously this whole fraction becomes extremely negligible, that too squared. So we can actually ignore this part. So it is under root of 1. So AF by under root of 1, that is AF. So when f is quite less than fh, then, or falling below fh, then in that case the gain is given by the passband gain AF. Now when f is equal to fh, if you look at this equation again, f is equal to fh. So this becomes 1. F by fh is equal to, f is also fh and fh. So it is 1. So 1 plus 1, that is under root 2. AF by under root 2. Okay. So that is under root 2 has a value of 0.707 times AF. So here you must take care that f is equal to fh means fh can be defined on the basis of this, because fh is the cutoff frequency. So cutoff frequency is the frequency at which the gain will fall to 0.707 of the maximum gain AF. Okay. Now the last condition, that is f is greater than fh. When f is greater than fh, what happens? Numerator is quite bigger than fh. Sorry, this equation 4. F is greater than fh. So in that case, what happens is, this particular term becomes very huge, isn't it? Now, if this becomes very huge, the denominator whole as a factor or the term becomes huge. So AF divided by a big term. So AF is being divided. So the effective result will be something which is quite less than AF. So that is what we are writing. whenever f is greater than fh, v naught by v, the magnitude of the gain, will be quite less than af, right? So we can observe the behavior of the gain with respect to frequency, which is actually the frequency response. For frequencies below cutoff frequency, it is at constant value af. For frequency at cutoff frequency, it is at the value of 0.707 of af. And as frequency is increasing with fh, it is getting, the gain is getting lesser and lesser. So that is how we'll see the response. This is what we're talking about. For frequencies up till a certain value, we see that whenever it is like fh, okay, we are talking when f is less than fh, it is up to a certain value af. When we are talking about f is equal to fh, at this point the value is 0.707 of af. And after this, when f is increasing beyond fh, we see that v naught by vn is gradually falling. So this is what we talk about. And if you take a look at this more closely, this fh is called the cutoff frequency, also break frequency or corner frequency. Cutoff frequency because from this particular frequency, it is the passband is actually cut off. The signal is, output signal is rather cut off. Ideally the dashed line is shown, so it will have a constant gain up till fh, and after suddenly at fh, that is as soon as cutoff frequency is reached, it will stop conducting or allowing any frequency to pass. So this is low pass. This range of frequencies is pass band. After fh, it is stop band. So it is it can also be called f is equal to fh. We know at this condition the value was 0.707 of af, which is in dB level, if we say, it is 3 dB minus of 3 dB. So the value is minus 3 dB of the maximum value. So we can say it rolls down to minus 3 dB of the peak value. Or break frequency because the conduction breaks or the allowance breaks. Corner frequency because if you look at the structure or the scheme, you see this is at the frequency which appears at the corner of the pass band. That is the cutoff frequency, the three different names. Now let's come to the filter design. When we look at the filter design, actually how do we go about designing a low pass Butterworth filter for the first order? Now first thing is you have to choose the cutoff, high cutoff frequency fh. That is either we have to choose or we are given. That means fh is a known value to us. We either assume it to be something, that is when we want to design, we first select it, or if we are allowed to design for someone, then they give it. So we already have this. Next thing is the first selection that we need to make is of C, the capacitor. Now it should be less than or equal to 1 microfarad, preferably less than, not equal to, rather preferably less than, because standard values of capacitors are available and lesser values are preferable over here, because the lesser value is up after 1 microfarad, that becomes a very huge value as capacitance or the reactance offered. So it somehow disturbs the behavior or the overall performance of the filter. So this has been observed. So this is a critical value of capacitor and has to be kept in mind. The next thing is when we have fh already and c. So on that basis, because we know that fh is equal to 1 by 2 pi rc. So in that case, just interchanging, we find out r is equal to 1 by 2 pi fhc, because we have the value of fh as well as c. So from this we find out the value of r, and r1 and rf give the desired passband of the af using this formula. So these are the four things that needs to be done for design of the filter. Now let's take an example so that we can actually see how we can design. Now it's given that we have to design a low pass filter at a cutoff frequency of 1 kilohertz with a passband gain of 2. So two things are given to us, the high cutoff frequency and the passband gain. So fh is given 1 kilohertz. So the next step is supposed to be we have to select a value of C, the capacitor C, which should be less than 1 microfarad. So let us consider one of the standard capacitors. Quite less than 1 microfarad is 0.01 microfarad. And now we calculate the value of R, putting the formula 1 by 2 pi fh c. So 1 by 2 pi fh is 1 kilohertz, that is 10 to the power 3 hertz, and C is 0.01 microfarad. So it is, microfarad is already 10 to the power minus 6, so it is 10 to the power minus 8 farad. So effectively it comes to 15.9 kilo ohms. Now 15.9 kilo ohm exactly we do not get a standard resistor. So what we do is we use a 20K potentiometer. So 20K potentiometer. Now we come to the passband gain, that is already given as 2, and we know that AF is equal to 2 given, and formula wise it is 1 plus RF by R1. So if AF is equal to 1 plus RF by R1 is equal to 2, so effectively we can say that RF by R1 is equal to 2 minus 1, that is 1. So RF should be equal to 1 from that equation itself. So let's set it to be 10 kilo ohms. That completes the circuit. And if we say about when we complete the values, we get the values, we put it in the circuit diagram. We have to actually draw the diagram, and let's take the first diagram. Actually, the values that we have used over here are pertaining to this particular values only of the filter requirements only. So if you see, the resistance is a value of 15.9 kilo ohm, that is the wiper is set, the potentiometer is pointer is set at 15.9 kilo ohm. The capacitance has a value of 0.01 microfarad, and R1 and RF have the same value, 10 kilo ohm. Okay, so this is how we design a filter. Next is frequency scaling. Now frequency scaling is actually when we talked about adjustability and all that, frequency adjustability, we just now saw that the cutoff frequency actually was being set by R and C values, and C can, and usually we don't go in for variable capacitors, rather potentiometers are more easy to adjust in point with respect to capacitance. So we go about having potential because resistance standard values are available. So if the value comes to something which is or not of standard market resistors that are available, commercial resistors that are available, so what we do is we set up the standard potentiometers and we fix in the values there, so it is more easy. So one frequency adjustability is there, because if we change the value of R, in that case FH is changed, so not much is required. Another factor that we talk is flexibility comes in is frequency scaling. Now suppose you have already designed a filter, now you just have to change the cutoff frequency from this to this. You have already designed it on the basis of some particular cutoff frequency. Now you want to change it to new cutoff frequency, or the requirement is such that it has to be scaled up to certain frequency. Now if that ratio you can find out, because you have already the original cutoff frequency divided by the new cutoff frequency, that ratio is actually the frequency scale, and this is known as the procedure to convert this. The conversion of from one cutoff frequency to another frequency is known as frequency scaling. And how do we do that? Because when we get the ratio, the original cutoff frequency fh and the new cutoff frequency fh dash, fh by fh dash, if you get that ratio, we just multiply it with either the R resistor or capacitor, and preferably in fact resistor, and by this ratio, and we get the new value of the resistor to be used. So we have to just replace that resistor with the new one, and we can easily scale the frequency accordingly, change from old frequency to new frequency. So this is one of the adaptability or adjustability or flexibility rather we talked about earlier, the advantage of active filters with respect to passive filters. This is one of the flexibilities that we are talking about, frequency scaling. Now one thing that I need to mention over here is that in filter design we needed values of R and C, which are usually not of standard values. Particularly variable capacitor is not used for filter design. So a standard value of capacitor is chosen and the value of resistor is calculated for the desired cutoff frequency. This is because for non-standard values of resistor a potentiometer can be used. So why actually we go in for fixed C and then finding out the value of R? Because here we can have potentiometers or non-standard values can be adjusted accordingly. So this is there. Now we come to the one example where we are applying frequency scaling. Suppose convert 1 kilohertz cutoff frequency of the low pass filter in example 1, the earlier one that we did, to a new cutoff frequency of 1.6 kilohertz. So what we just need to do is we find out the ratio original cutoff frequency by new cutoff frequency, 1 kilohertz by 1.6 kilohertz, that is 0.625. Now the new resistor that has to be used is the old resistor 15.9 kilo ohm, the earlier one that we were using, times that ratio, the new ratio that we found, FH by FH dash, that 0.625. The new value comes in. Now we see that earlier we were using 20 kilo ohm potentiometer. Now we see it is of 9.94 kilo ohm. So it is, we can easily replace it by a 10 kilo ohm potentiometer and fix it at 9.94 kilo ohm. So that will give us the new circuit of the low pass filter with a new cutoff frequency of 1.6 kilohertz. We can also verify it again, just a cross check by finding the new cutoff frequency by putting in the value of new resistor. So FH is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC, where R now is the new resistance value that we are using, this one. So we just put in, we will get the value as 1.6 kilohertz. So these are the two examples. Now we come to second order low pass Butterworth filter. When we talk about second order, why we go in for this increasing the orders? Because as the order of the filter increases, the rolling down for low pass filter, that the voltage gain that rolls down after the cutoff becomes steeper and steeper. For the first order, if you have noticed in the frequency response, it is minus 20 dB. Okay, and when we go for second order, it is minus 40 dB. Minus means it is, the gain is decreasing with respect to increase in the input frequency. So as it is decreasing a line, so we have the slope is negative, so it is minus, and 20 dB means there is this at this rate it is decreasing. So when we talk about this, then we see that as the order has been increased, the filter design or the filter output is getting more and more closer to the ideal response. Okay, so we are getting better and better filtering in that sense, because it is more ideal, getting more ideal. The practical values are closing in towards the ideal values, so we have better filter responses. So that is why we have second order. And another thing is, why do we go in for second order? Because from that we can design in higher order filters. So the first step is, from first order you have to design second order. The gain is again set by R1 and RF. One important thing that will be coming in after this. The next thing is that while the cutoff frequency is determined by R2, R3, C2 and C3. Now what you have to take care is, now like we have one RC section for first order. When we design second order low pass filter, there will be another RC section. So we already had R1 RF in the inverting input side, so that was determining the gain of the passband gain of the filter. But for second order it is fixed although, but still it has to be there. And the RC networks that we were using, one section and the second section. So we have R2C2 one section, R3C3 another section, and FH will be given as 1 by 2 pi. Normally it is 1 by 2 pi RC. Now it is 1 by 2 pi under root of R2 R3 C2 C3. Okay. Now the voltage gain magnitude equation is given by, if you look at this, the order over here is just squared. It is AF by under root of 1 plus F by FH, which was F by FH square for first order. Now it is F by FH to the power 4. And obviously you already know what is V0 by Vn. It is the gain of the filter as a function of frequency. Here the next thing is passband gain AF. It is 1 by 1 plus RF by R1, and it is the passband gain of filter. For second order filter, to ensure Butterworth response, it has to be 1.586. This value is fixed. Please keep in mind that the passband gain of second order low pass filter, Butterworth filter, is 1.586, and it is fixed to ensure Butterworth response. Next, F is obviously the frequency of input signal in hertz, and FH is the high cutoff frequency in of the filter in hertz, and it is given by 1 by 2 pi under root of R2 R3 C2 C3. Now for filter design part, obviously we start as in the low pass filter. First we have to have the value of high cutoff frequency FH. Next, what we do to simplify, because fh is equal to, earlier it was 1 by 2 pi rc, now it is 1 by 2 pi under root of r2, r3, c2, c3. So first we simplify it. Let r2 and r3 be r of the same value and c2, c3 be c. So in that case the equation becomes fh is equal to 1 by 2 pi under root of r square c square, because r2 r3 becomes r square and c2 c3 becomes c square, and under root. So obviously again this fh falls back to the first order term only. fh is equal to 1 by 2 pi r c. Now you choose the value of c, which is should be less than equal to 1 microfarad as usual, and then finally you obtain the value of r. Only that you have to take care is we have to put in these resistances and capacitances twice. Two sections have to put in. Of the, since they are of the same value, we need just two. So finally what we do is, we have to take care that the R2 R3 is equal to R and C2 C3 is equal to C, and the desired passband gain is always 1 plus RF by R1, which is fixed to 1.586. Since we have this equation, so we can say if 1 plus Rf by R1 is 1.586, then this equation, the next one, second, that is Rf is equal to 0.586 times R1 is fixed. Every time we have to just find out Rf, the value of Rf for a given R1. Like we assume R1 to be something, so Rf has to be 0.586 times Rf. Okay, so that is how we ensure the Butterworth response and have the value, the passband gain of 1.586, and then the particular this R1, actually what we do is we should choose a value of R less than or equal to 100 kilo ohm, not be more than that, to ensure the response again, the to proper functioning of circuit, and then we have to calculate the value of RF. So the entire designing of high pass filter is summarized as above, that just we did. Now if you look at the second order Butterworth low pass Butterworth filter that I was just saying, it is R2 C2 R3 C3. Since R2 is equal to R3, so both the values of same, C2 is equal to C3. Okay, and here what we do is R1 and this is RF. Okay, so from the value of R1, since R1 has to be less than 100 kilo ohm, let that be 27 kilo ohm, and RF comes out to be 15.8 kilo ohm, which is set using a 20k potentiometer. And this is obviously we are assuming because C we took in a value of 0.0047 microfarad, so accordingly we will get R is equal to 33 kilo ohm from FH is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC formula. So this is that, and if you look at the response again, I'll just point it out that until FH the passband gain is AF, then at FH it is 0.707 of AF, and then it actually gradually goes down. If you look at this rolling down is minus 40 dB per decade. So every change in the frequency, the decade change in frequency, the gain falls to 40 dB, goes down by 40 dB. So this is the frequency response of Butterworth second order low pass Butterworth filter. Now there are review questions on the basis of the lecture that we have just covered. Go through it, try to answer most appropriately, and that will actually give you an idea. We have some designing questions also, so that will give you an idea of whether you have understood the design aspect of low pass Butterworth filter, first order as well as second order. And that's all for now. Thank you.